What's up, NFL fans, and welcome back to another episode of For Your Viewing Pleasure. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by Wesley Coleman as we turn the page from Week 12 to Week 13 in the National Football League. It's Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, Wesley. How are you doing?
Good, man. I'm ready to eat some turkey and pass out. Or are you going to stay up and
Yes.
watch football?
I will not stay up for the late game. I just can't unless the Steelers are playing. Like, I'm in bed at halftime. So I watched at halftime and then I'm done. I'm not going to lie. But this slate of games this week is interesting. But I do want to say that we said the same thing last week. We said, this slate of games could really suck. And we just talked about it before we hit record. There were some redeeming qualities of last week's games, especially at the 1 o'clock time slot. So I want to keep that in the back of everyone's mind as we talk about these games. Before we dive into the primetime slate, and Thursday being Thanksgiving, obviously we have 3 games on Thursday, and we have a game on Friday. So far on Thursday, there's 2 of the 3 games are divisional matchups. What's your take on the NFL scheduling division matchups on a Thursday night? I personally don't like it. I think that those games are too important to have on a short week. I would rather see a really good test of the division games. And no, it's not just because the Steelers lost to the Browns on Thursday night. They've done that plenty of times. It's more when I think about how important these games are, man, it's tough to ask them to do it on a short week. What's your take?
I think that it's just now part of the game that, you're going to have to play on short weeks and you've got to, sometimes it'll be important games and sometimes it won't. I think is just kind of part of it. I would say that I think they should do more, at least, especially for Thanksgiving. It was funny that the narrative for years is that the Lions didn't deserve to be a Thanksgiving team.
Right.
Now that the Lions are good, the Cowboys are terrible and nobody wants to watch them. I think these games are too big to just be. I don't understand the Cowboys and Lions being on them every year. I don't know if that's correct anymore. But I think it's part of the game of attrition. Now, I don't think a team should have a bye week and then play Thursday night versus another team playing a late Sunday game and then a Thursday night game. I think that gets a little complicated.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. You look at the Thanksgiving slate of games. There's only one AFC team. This, I don't know what it is. I know it's because of Dallas and it's because of Detroit. To me, this would be the perfect time to take some of the interconference games that they have on the schedule and let's put them in there. Let's see what these AFC NFC matchups can do. To me, as an AFC guy that follows an AFC team, I look at Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys. I'm like, what is there to watch? Like, none of this impacts the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll watch. Don't get me wrong. But I just wish they would infuse more AFC into Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. That I don't disagree with. I think we need to have all, conferences and areas of the country kind of represented and stuff like that. So it's kind of means something to everybody, and everybody has something to fight with their family about.
Exactly. It's the holidays, for crying out loud. Let's talk about this slate of games in prime time. So Thursday, Thanksgiving Day at 12:30 Eastern time, the Bears go to the Lions. That's going to be interesting. A lot of storylines. Then you have the Tommy DeVito versus Cooper Rush Classic. This is going to be the coup de grace at 4:30. It's going to be insane. I'm joking. The next is Dolphins at Packers at 8:20. Okay, this is a little bit more intriguing, but then there's more. Friday, November 29th, the Black Friday game, which is at 3 p.m. Eastern time. The Raiders go to the Chiefs. And then the Sunday night game, let me find that one here. Sunday night is 49ers at Bills with a Monday Night Football of Browns at Broncos. Ugh. Let's start with Thanksgiving first. What's your take on those games?
It's, start off, watch the Bears and Lions before you eat, see if that game's even competitive at halftime. We expect the Lions to kind of probably run away with that one, but let's see if Caleb Williams can make some cool throws, and that can be entertaining. Maybe about the fourth quarter of that, you take a nice long nap through the fourth quarter and through the entire Jets and Giants and Cowboys game. And then you wake up refreshed, grab a second serving of pie, and you watch the Dolphins and Packers fight it out for, this is the Dolphins. They're 5-6, but this isn't the Dolphins that got to 5-6.
Right.
This is the good Dolphins. So I think we've got a good game here. But I think that's how it sets up. We watch the Bears and Lions to the start of the second half, take a nice long nap, maybe go see if it's a nice day outside to throw the football yourself with the kids and argue with your aunts and uncles about the election.
Oh gosh.
Then kick them out of the house and watch the PM game.
The NFL's got to be thanking their lucky stars that Tua came back and is healthy and is playing.
If he wasn't, this is bad.
Oh, it's really bad. It's really bad. And so there's a little intrigue. Let's go to Friday. The Black Friday game, Raiders at Chiefs. Raiders are 2-9. I guess Desmond Ridder will probably be the quarterback. There's not much intrigue here other than the fact that the Raiders beat the Chiefs. This was, I think, in Vegas last year on Christmas Day. So there is
Max
a chance.
Crosby. Max
Yeah.
Crosby went off.
Thoughts on this one?
I mean, you just are sitting there. Can Max Crosby absolutely dominate to where it makes Mahomes throw an interception or two, and then it still doesn't matter. I mean, and honestly, this is a game the Chiefs can lose and still be fine. They're 3 games up in their division, and they're going to hold the tiebreakers over the Chargers, and also it's I don't know.
They have the division basically.
It's football. I like football.
All right, there you go. Sunday night, 49ers at Bills, and Brock Purdy missed last week. They did not look good going to Lambeau. Who knows what the quarterback situation is going to be. Buffalo is coming off of their bye week. Josh Allen looks red hot. Well, they've got to keep that up. Last time we saw the Bills, they beat the Chiefs. What's your take on the Sunday night game?
I mean, I think enough of it's kind of said with the spread. I mean, it's a 7-point spread for the Bills at home. I mean, this is probably a game that they feel pretty comfortable in. Same as the Bears Lions. The Lions are a 10-point favorite. The Bears aren't that terrible, but maybe they are. I mean, the Lions are that good. The 2 games that are the most intriguing to me right there, those have big spreads.
Yeah. And on Monday night, Browns at Broncos, which the Browns winning last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the snow at least provides a little bit of intrigue. And then you have Bo Nix. We talked about Bo Nix last week and how he's been playing well. The Broncos at 7-5 are right in the mix of a playoff spot in the AFC. They cannot afford to slip up. The Browns are done, but at least they're competitive. So what's your take on Monday night?
I mean, this is the game of the week. You got Jameis Winston versus Bo Nix. This is the game that people have been scrambling for. We weren't sure if we were going to get it. We didn't know if Bo Nix was going to be starting this year this early or if he was going to take a red shirt. We didn't know if Jameis was going to actually get his rightful position as the starting quarterback of the Browns. Fate has just brought us to this, Monday, December 2nd, and we finally get what everybody's been scrambling for and wishing for.
He's being sarcastic for those that are listening in the audio form. I'm sure there's people that are like, oh my gosh, is this guy serious? No, he is not being serious. But let's talk about games this week other than the primetime slate. Must-watch games. There's a lot of options here. I'm curious which direction you're going to go. What's a must-watch game for you?
Oh, give me the Eagles and Ravens, man.
Yes.
Listen, so we've already mentioned the Giants. The Giants had 245 yards of offense last week total. Saquon Barkley rushed for 255 yards.
Yeah.
He by himself rushing had 10 more yards. He also caught some balls and got some more yardage catching. So just that comparison. And I've been saying all this year, if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, he's one of the best players in football, but he's the best running back. It's been the health concern. We've got Saquon Barkley versus Derek. What did my mind just go blank? Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. We get Jalen Hurts versus Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be some mirror image things here between these teams. I think it's going to be a fun game. Can either one of the quarterbacks throw the ball downfield? When will they have rushing yards? What will these running backs do? This is going to be a fun game.
I agree. I think that's the one game that everyone's probably saying that's the must-watch game. 4:25 p.m. on CBS. That's going to have the A-team, Nance and Romo. I'm not being a homer here, but I have to say there is a lot on the line for Steelers Bengals at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that was my other one.
Steelers going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's coming off a bye. The Steelers are coming off a little mini bye after playing on Thursday night in Week 12. The Steelers at 8-3. Their margin of error is now very slim with the Baltimore Ravens. And the Cincinnati Bengals are not dead yet at 4-7. They would have to do some magic, but they are an offense that is explosive. This is a game that if Pittsburgh wins and they advance to 9-3, then I think that if they're 9-3 and the Bengals are 4-8, it might not be the final nail, but it's close to it in the coffin for the Bengals in terms of trying to find a spot in the AFC playoff picture. What's your take on this game?
Yeah, I think this is a big one. And I think the Bengals are such a team with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and then also they're no matter what, their coach is going to be fighting for his coaching life throughout this entire year. It's going to come down to statement wins, even if you're eliminated. This isn't a team that's going to stop trying to embarrass you and beat you and score a bunch of points. If the Steelers lose this game and the Ravens do end up winning against the Eagles, it's a bad situation for the Steelers for trying to win their division. And the Steelers do not want to be the wild card team. Like that, you need to have some home field to starting off in the AFC to have any kind of chance. I think this is a big game for both teams, and you may throw it out the window because of a 4-7 Bengals, but whether they're mathematically eliminated or not, this is a team that's planning on competing next year, and they're going to try to get things right and figure out what they can do and break other teams' hearts.
For sure. And I just saw a report that Zach Taylor, I mean, my gosh, he's pulling out all the stops. He brought ping pong back in the locker room. I mean, if that's not the deciding factor, Steeler fans, I'm sorry to tell you this, it's over. It's pack it away. They have ping pong back. Their competitive juices are flowing all week. What a joke. Anyways,
also, I think the Steelers have not won a game this year against teams from Ohio, so there is that.
You mean the one game they played?
Hey, they haven't won a game against
That's
teams
true.
from Ohio.
Fact. Cannot deny that. Cannot deny that. For those that are counting degenerates at home, the Cincinnati Bengals are giving 3 points. The Steelers are road dogs in this game, even at 8-3. So that's interesting. Any other must-watch games for you?
I mean, I don't know if must watch is the right word, but I'm not throwing away the Cardinals and Vikings.
Yep.
The Cardinals are so up and down. Like they controlled their own destiny where they were going to kind of put a stamp on the division, and they lay an egg versus Seattle, or not lay an egg, but they didn't look great. I would expect a rebound from them. And, and the Vikings, they're 9-2, but they've had some games where they haven't looked, looked like a 9-2 team. With the Lions kind of seeming like they're going to keep winning, I think the Vikings have to win to keep pace so that they can hopefully beat the Lions later in the year and then take over the division. They're not out of it.
For sure. And there's a lot on the line in the NFC West with the Cardinals at 6-5 coming off of that loss to the Seattle Seahawks last week, where the offense just never really got going. Kyler Murray got stymied. Geno Smith making plays. So there you go. Let's go to fantasy games that even if it's one-sided, you might say, look, if you got some players on this team or this game, you want to start them. Where are you going first?
I mean, probably the Dolphins Packers kind of gives you a bunch of options. Josh Jacobs has been great for the Packers. I think silently, I don't know if we've talked about him too much as a fantasy running back, but he's been putting up a lot of points this year. Kraft, the tight end for the Packers, has done really good. I think he scored another touchdown this last week. And then, of course, with Tua back, the Dolphins are at full strength. They got 2 running backs you can start. They got 2 wide receivers that you have to start. There's a lot going on there. And again, with a Thursday night game, it's the only one on, so you might as well watch it anyway.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think about games. I mean, like there's a part of me that thinks Commanders Titans, but the Titans defense actually didn't play poorly last week in their win over the Texans. And so I'm kind of hesitant to say, well, maybe Jaden Daniels, if you have him as an option. I still think he's really banged up. Terry McLaurin, I feel like he's getting into that must-start status every single week. Other than that, I'm thinking the Buccaneers against the Panthers might be a good option. Any other teams pop out to you?
Yeah, I think there's a sneaky one. There's quite a few players in the Rams Saints that you would want to play. The Saints coming off a bye. Alvin Kamara going to be healthy. He's going to get a lot of carries. Taysom Hill had a huge game, like almost setting a tight end record probably for your league. The past game that they did play, and then the Rams now. Again, we also talk Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford will put up numbers. They may only be 5-6, but they'll put up numbers. And I don't think either one of these teams necessarily has a great defense to stop that. So this could be a good fantasy game for offensive players.
I want to ask you about a game. It's Eagles-Ravens, which you've already talked about a lot and the big names in it. Yep. This is a game with the Ravens have a very weird defense. They're awful against the pass. They're the second best team against the run. They also surrender some points. The Eagles are a very good defense. If any, who would you start in the Eagles-Ravens matchup?
Like as of a defense?
No. Would you start Saquon Barkley in this matchup, or do you think
100%?
So there's no one. You're saying Saquon Barkley's entering like Christian McCaffrey territory in his prime, where it doesn't matter who they play, what their rankings are. You're starting him no matter what.
Saquon Barkley is the Justin Jefferson of running backs. Okay. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care what the game plan is. I don't care who the defense is. Start the dude. He's going to get points.
What about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, I think fantasy-wise, I get crippled by that. I don't think he's a great quarterback. Yep. As far as, the Eagles, though, I've been underestimating them because last year, I think their record was fake and they were not that good. The Eagles, listen, are going to They would be a matchup right now for any team in the NFL. They are playing as well as any team out there, and they're doing the right things. With A.J. Brown healthy, it just makes a difference when they come back. And their defense has greatly improved the last 2 seasons, just a little bit, kind of game by game. So I think they're a better team than what they're getting credit for. And, Baltimore favored by 3 kind of surprises me, to tell you the truth.
Do you think about Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in this game?
Yeah, I mean, and that's one area the Eagles have done good at getting to the quarterback. They don't have a great run defense. I think their leading tackler is normally is their linebacker.
Brandon Graham? Oh, Brandon Graham.
No, it's their linebackers, and they're getting tackles 5 yards down the field. Their defensive line is not great against the run. So I think, definitely you want to start Derrick Henry.
All right, very good. So let's shift now and let's talk about sneaky good matchups. Forgot one. Sneaky good matchups. Games that you're like, not going to get talked about a lot, but this could actually be a pretty good game. Where are you headed?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned the game earlier, but it's going to be the Rams and the Saints for a couple of reasons. One, the Saints were the darling of the NFL when they were 2-0 and healthy, and now they've come back. They've won a couple games in a row, and neither one of these teams is eliminated from their winning their division, much less making the playoffs. Both of them right now are sitting with a losing record, but Atlanta's in first place in the NFC South. They're not a good team, and they actually have a pretty tough schedule. They lose to the Chargers this week, which would be probably expected. We're talking about the Saints and Falcons being 1 game apart. Rams as well. The Rams can be in first place after this week, or tied for first place if they win this week, depending on what Seattle and Arizona do. So I think that there's motivation for both teams. Both teams have some veteran lineups, so they're not going to start tanking or anything like that. Both teams, have reasons to win regardless, outside of the fact that they are still in contention for their division.
I think a lot of people are already writing off the 49ers-Bills game, and they're saying that this is going to be done. I think there is a lot of pride on this 49ers team. I don't know the status of the quarterback just yet as we record today, but still, I think that, Deebo Samuel has gotten a ton of hate on social media. The fan base thinks he's washed. He can't do anything. They're struggling in a lot of areas. I hate to say this, but I feel like their season is kind of on the line here. And you might say, well, Jeff, that's the NFC West. It's not like there's a 10-win team that's leading the division, but they're 5-6. If they fall to 5-7, I'm sorry, but I just don't see this team being able to get it done. And when you look at what they have coming up, they still have a game against the Rams. They got Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals, and the Bears. It's not going to be easy. I think this could be a really good game. I think the Buffalo, we'll see at 9-2. Could they lay another egg? They've done it before. They're going to be at home. That's in their favor. I think that could be a sneaky good game.
I think that a lot's online for the 49ers. We already, just after losing the Harbaugh Bowl, have gotten rumors of a possible coaching change in San Francisco. I think that's pretty early, but the fact that that's even being not necessarily rumored, but speculated about from semi-legitimate sources, that's weird. Those people aren't making stuff up to be dramatic, and there's not a lot of pushback yet. So the fact that that's even being floated out there, I think, is a big deal. And I agree with you. About the Deebo Samuel. I'm not a Deebo Samuel guy. I thought Brandon Ayuk, they're not going to pay Deebo now. So Brandon Ayuk is slated to be their number 1. Yeah, legitimately move forward. I think that San Francisco's put himself in a little bit of a weird situation moving forward with Christian McCaffrey getting older, and then the wide receivers not necessarily being worthy of number 1 status.
Yeah, a lot of storylines, a lot of narratives for sure. Let's go to you can only watch one. So if there's a game that you can only pick one game, that's the one you're going to watch. Which is it for you?
I'm gonna stick with the Eagles and Ravens. I just think that that's a great game. The only other game on at the same time is the Buccaneers and Panthers. So everybody will be watching the Eagles and Ravens. Yeah. That's going to be a big one. So I'm a fan of that, and I think that the Rams Saints are playing at the same time. I'll actually be at that game, so I won't be watching the Eagles Ravens because I'll be in the Superdome. But the Eagles Ravens is a huge matchup for both teams. It's got AFC and NFC, which some people are scrambling for on this holiday weekend, which I think will be great.
I can't get over, because I agree with you 100%. Wouldn't say anything different, but I can't get over Lamar's record versus NFC teams. He dominates NFC teams. Boy, would it suck if this game was a dud. If the Ravens come out and do what they did against Josh Allen and the Bills a couple months ago and blow their doors off. I have seen it happen. I've seen him do it at home against really good teams. Do I think the Eagles are going to do that? No, but it could. The dude's record speaks for itself against NFC opponents. So that's the one for me, though, for sure. If I'm not watching the Steelers, I'm definitely watching Eagles at Ravens at 425. Now, let's go to dud of the week. We have a lot of options here.
I have one option. I think the Giants and Cowboys are just, it's just, there's nothing intriguing about either one of those teams. And again, it's the only thing on, so it'll be on TVs, but I think it's going to be one that there's going to be like videos and memes posted about silly things happening in that game. That I think it's just going to be a bad game.
Yeah, cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song. I'm sure that'll be used a lot. I think for me, Colts Patriots doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry, like Gerard Mayo saying the most off the wall stuff after games. I know it's his way of challenging his team, but the Colts with Anthony Richardson, they're sticking with him. They're 5-7. The Patriots are 3-9. That is just, I don't know. It's just not it for me. And also, Seahawks Jets isn't it for me either. Is that where you're going to go?
Yeah, and the Seahawks Jets, I think is. Listen, I'm gonna follow from afar, just hoping to watch this Jets implosion. The noise coming out of the Jets front office and locker room about the owner just telling coaches to bench the quarterback and it's just it's crazy. And I don't know, it leads to an interesting story in the future because I believe that, unless they win out, Aaron Rodgers is going to leave, but then all these other people they picked up and brought in to pair with Aaron Rodgers, how do they get rid of all of them?
Yeah.
And can they? And who's the next quarterback? I don't know. It's interesting.
Don't worry. They got it all taken care of. They hired the 33rd team to help them with their GM and coach search. Don't worry. It's an internet website. Like that. They'll be fine. They'll be just fine. Woody Johnson, keep up the good work, man. All right. Wesley, got any big plans for the Thanksgiving holiday?
Going to New Orleans. I'll eat some great food, do some Christmas lights. We'll go to the Saints versus Rams game, have a good time. But taking it easy outside of just kind of a nice little vacation weekend. What about you, Jeff? You going to be cooking on the grill, or we can get some videos from you in the backyard?
Man. I'm smoking a turkey tomorrow, Wednesday, which is we're recording this on Tuesday, obviously. And then Thursday, I'm grilling a turkey. So I'm in charge of the birds this year. We're having everyone over here in the great state of Maryland. I say that sarcastically. And so we're going to have a house full of family. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, Wesley, why don't you tell us where we can find your stuff with the Dome Patrol podcast as well as on social media?
We cover the Saints for the Dome Patrol podcast. So you can find us on X at Dome Patrol PCast, or you can find me at Wesley13. How can we find you on X and social media, Jeff?
Yeah, you want to catch out my Steelers stuff, go to Steel Curtain Network, both steelcurtainnetwork.com and wherever you get your podcast by searching Steel Curtain Network. You want to find me, go at J Hartman, HARTMAN_PIT. Wesley, man, have safe travels. Enjoy your holiday. We'll talk next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.